This morning, I woke up, came into my kitchen, had a cup of coffee, switched on the radio, and there it was, the Ukraine. The Russians have entered the Ukraine. Immediately following this, the propaganda started. We have had Irish politicians, self-righteous bigots, comparing this with the German invasion of Poland and Austria. So what is the truth about the Ukraine? What's this all about? Well, it's very simple. This is about the European Union. Now, it's a very complicated situation. It's not black and white, and there are a lot of things going on here. But in its simplest form, you have the European Union, then you have Russia, and in between you have, let's call them buffer states. And in some of these states, the better off people, the privileged people, they want to join the European Union. They want the wealth and all of that, the prosperity that will come with joining the European Union. And the European Union has been using all its energy, excuse me, to expand, to make the European bigger, to expand it further towards Russia. Now, what happens if, in the fullness of time, the Ukraine decides to join the EU? You know, as these small states are all bribed to join the EU, eventually it'll be the turn of the Ukraine. So what will happen as the EU expands and expands, and eventually, let's say, you have a campaign in the Ukraine to enter the EU? What happens then? Well, what happens then is what happened in Ireland and England and all across Europe. You'll get the prosperity that the EU brings. The Ukraine will become a more prosperous country, a more modern country. But of course they will have to accept European law, European human rights law, all that thing. And then the mass immigration will begin. And then the police will start painting their cars in LGBT colours. And the immigration will continue and continue and continue. And if you're Ukrainian, if you're an ordinary Ukrainian citizen, and you say, hang on, I don't want to become a foreigner in my own country. I don't want to be replaced. You will be told to shut up. And you, as a Ukrainian, you will be told by these EU woke people, you will be told there is no place for you in the new Ukraine. That's what this is about. The people responsible for whatever war happened here are the EU. No one else. It's not the Russians, it's not Putin. Now, Putin is no angel, and he's playing his own games. But there are plenty of people in Eastern Europe who are pro-Russian. And the reason they're pro-Russian is they know what's going to happen if the West, if the European Union continues to expand. They've seen what's happened in England, in Ireland, in Europe. You know, you become a minority in your own country. You know, you have this woke fascism imposed upon you. So, don't fall for this propaganda. This comes down to EU expansionism. That's what's behind this. Nothing else. And all of these countries, as I say, these buffer states, some of which are talking about joining the EU, all the sort of thing. The EU doesn't give a damn about the people in those states. Because as the EU expands into each of those states, their fate will be exactly the same as Ireland. The people in those states, they will have to adopt the LGBT people. In schools, children will be brainwashed into this new woke thing. And anyone who simply doesn't want to become a minority in their own country will be told, shut up. There's no place for you in the new Ukraine or wherever. So don't be fooled by any of this. This is EU expansionism. And it's sickening to hear our Irish politicians comparing this with Hitler invading Poland or what have you. It's sickening to hear our politicians talking about, the people of Ukraine being taken over, invaded by the Russians. Ireland has been invaded. Ireland's been taken over. There isn't a single person in Ireland who can go into their job today and complain about the way Ireland is going, or to complain about mass immigration. They get the sack. If you're a student in college today and you go into your university and you start raising concerns about what's happening in your country, you'll be driven out of your college. This is to do with European expansion. This has to do with the promotion of the woke agenda. This has to do with destroying democracy and freedom in the West. And the EU are doing this, not Russia. Putin's not perfect, the Russians aren't perfect. But the culprits here, the bad guys if you like, it's the EU. So don't fall for the propaganda.